You're listening to Bullish Sports. Day 4 of the World Cup, Sunday, June 15th. Switzerland, Ecuador, 12 o'clock. France, Honduras, 3 o'clock. Argentina, Bosnia Herzegovina, 6 o'clock. Those are all Eastern times. I am your host, the Streak Master. First game of the day, Switzerland, Ecuador. It's going to be a low-scoring one. Ecuador in qualifying, they scored 20 goals in Cone Mabel. That was the fewest of any South American team to qualify for Brazil. As for Switzerland, in qualifying, they scored 17 goals, only allowed 6 goals in their qualifying. An interesting thing to look at, Ecuador picked up 22 of their 25 points coming at home. That means they weren't very good on the road. So that's something to consider, but looking back when they're in the World Cup in 2006, the same thing actually happened, but Ecuador actually reached the round of 16, so maybe we shouldn't put too much into it, but it's still something to consider. And again, looking at the goals, Switzerland has failed to score in 3 of their last 4 World Cup matches. The only time they scored was surprisingly a 1-0 win against Spain. So right off the bat, I do like the under goals. Unfortunately, the over-under is at 2. I rarely hit the under of 2 goals, but I'm going to consider it. It's minus 113, under 2 goals. I just don't think there's going to be over 2 goals in this game. So even if it's like a 1-1 type of game, you'll at least push. But looking at the lineups, I'm going to give the edge to Switzerland. They won their qualifying group. They have a better defense. They play together as a team, I believe. Ecuador, they're going to be playing for Chucho Benitez, who died earlier in the year. Unfortunately for them, he was one of their better strikers. Guys that are going to have to step up, obviously Antonio Valencia, but Felipe Caicedo, he led the team in qualifying with 7 goals. The problem with Ecuador, I don't think their defense is as good as what Switzerland brings to the table. Switzerland has guys like Lichtsteiner, Giroud, Fabian Schär. They have quality guys on their back line. I'm not sure if Ecuador has that kind of quality where they're going to be able to deal with Dermich or Shaqiri roaming down the side. Valencia will definitely be a problem for Switzerland, especially if someone like Lichtsteiner moves up and down the field. It should be a real close game, but there's not going to be a lot of goals. I'm looking at a 1-0 type of game here for Switzerland. But in the end, I think I'm going to go with safe play and go Switzerland PK, which is minus 131. The second game, France-Honduras. A lot of people are thinking France is going to run away with this one. But remember, France barely made it into the World Cup. Granted, they played in Spain's group in qualifying. But Honduras is a tricky team. While they hadn't won in their previous 6 games in the World Cup, they played close defensive games. And without someone like Ribéry in the team for France, it's definitely going to hurt against Honduras. Honduras is going to play rough. They're going to play physical. They're going to move players around like Benzema. They're going to try and make him uncomfortable. I think this one's also going to be low scoring. Like I said, I don't think France is going to be able to run away with this one. Some people are probably going, a higher scoring France, okay, against Honduras, they'll get 2 or 3 goals, but I think it's going to be another pretty close game. I think it could be in the range of, 1-0 France here. The under 2.5 goals is minus 134, so a lot of people are thinking that as well. There's not going to be that many goals, especially without Ribéry in there. But still, France, they have a great lineup. Karim Benzema up top is solid, but he hasn't been that great on an international level, whereas he's awesome for Real Madrid. Valbuena has been excellent for France, and he's going to be a huge part of this team without Ribéry. Yohan Cabaye, Sissoko. The back line is solid as well. Sako Varane, hitting on the backs. You got Patrice Evra and Debuchy. So overall, a really solid team. But looking at Honduras, they got physical players. They got bigger guys up front. They're going to be physical. They got bigger guys up front that could be problems. Carlo Costly, Bankston. And then they also have experienced players in the midfield. Wilson Palacios has plenty of experience playing in the Premier League. Mena Figueroa, Luis Aguirre. Also looking at extremely physical guys, Roger Espinosa and Andy Nahar. While Honduras doesn't have the skill, they're going to stick with their plan. They're going to play extremely defensive. and they're gonna hope for a draw. Basically, is what Honduras is hoping for here, because France projected to be the best team. Honduras would be happy with a 0-0 type of game. They'll be happy with a 1-1 draw. But in the end, you gotta like the quality that France has in their lineup, and I think that pushes them over the edge here against Honduras. Here's yet another game where people just look at the two teams and say, oh, Argentina, okay, they're expected to go far. I'm going to pick them to easily win this game. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Bosnia Herzegovina, a solid team. Look what they did in qualifying. They scored 30 goals and won 8 of their 10 matches. I don't care who you're playing against, especially in qualifying. That's a solid number here. And Bosnia, they're making their World Cup debut. Don't forget about them. Don't forget about them. They got solid lineup. They got guys that can make a difference. Argentina, obviously, we're looking at Messi and then the slew of attack force that Argentina has. They got 35 goals in 16 qualifying games. Messi, who is often criticized on an international level, Messi has 21 goals in 25 games under current coach Sabella. He only scored 17 in 61 games under previous coaches, so that's something to look at right there. But in the lineups, obviously Bosnia is going to have a big problem dealing with Messi, Di Maria, Aguero, Higuain, Lavezzi, just a stocked lineup. The problem usually with Argentina is their defense, and that's where guys like Edin Dzeko come in. Another leading scorer, Vedad Ibisevic. He's probably be coming off the bench in this one. So, if Argentina gets that lead, someone like Ibisevic can come off the bench and get some goals there. But while Bosnia is going to have problems with Messi and company, Argentina is also going to have problems with Dzeko and company. Simple as that. They're going to use Besic and Janic in the midfield, try and hold Messi there. But they got Begovic in net. He's an experienced guy. He's played in the Premier League, and he's probably going to get battered. Argentina's going to have plenty of chances. Looking at the over-under here, 2.5, and people are going with the over. Of course, we also have to look at the last time Argentina and Bosnia played. It was in a friendly back in November. Argentina won 2-0. So both teams used most of the starters we're going to see in this game, so something to consider. That makes me worried about picking over in this game. Argentina's defense has been playing better lately, but my final plays, starting with Switzerland PK, that's at -131. Also in that game, Ecuador, Switzerland under 2 goals, that's -113. And a nice little parlay here, Argentina for the win combined with France for the win. Not my favorite day of games here. A lot of difficult matchups here we're looking at, but I still think we have some value, especially in the Ecuador-Switzerland game, but also in the Argentina and France game. I think those teams both have enough quality against their opponents where they can win. Alright, that's it for day 4. Stay tuned at bullsports.com. We'll have your World Cup previews covered. Stay bullish.